Howdy folks, this afternoon we're at the Classic British Comic Strip Art Exhibition. Come on. Let's see what we can find today. This is all sort of pre-digital, if you will. As you can see, I think if you can zoom in there, do you see? Yeah, you can see, look, a lot of it was like, oh, sorry. You can see where they've added they corrected the text. Some of these pages you can actually make out Tippex as well.
Gosh, you remember Tippex?
Yeah. But that was the original size of the...
Yeah, it's much bigger than you think it was going to be. You just see it on the wee small page and then you think, oh, it's...
Yeah, see, that's how they got the detail in it.
And did you realise that Mike Nesbitt of the Monkees, his mother invented Tippex, and he was therefore rather independently wealthy even before the Monkees?
Oh,
Thank you very much.
I'm a believer.
But not until I seen that space.
It's another one. It had another name, and someone else did Tippex, but she invented the original formula.
There you go.
Name in America.
Oh yeah. Was it
Whiteout?
Whiteout or
Oh,
White
yes.
Axe? Or yeah.
There you go. Just thought it was about
She
comics.
made a lot of money on that.
Oh, here we go. Blast from the past. Where's Little Gummidge?
Oh my goodness. Quite possibly one of the saddest, most brutal television programs that we were on when we were kids.
Oh, it
I mean,
traumatised me.
it was just, I mean, that poor man was in an abusive relationship.
See, look, you can make out the... Oh, sorry about the clatter of the chains. Like the blue pencil. So
Yes.
it won't show up, I think, whenever it was being scanned or photocopied.
Where's Little Gummidge? Looking. Oh, I remember Looking. Mike
Yeah.
Noble. Oh, laddie-daddy-la. Laddie, was it laddie-daddy-da? Looking. Ah, there's Follyfoot. Ah, takes me back to my horsey days.
Oh, Follyfoot.
Captain,
There's
and
also
Captain
Captain
Scarlett.
Scarlett to the right.
Look at that.
Isn't
that extraordinary?
21 magazine.
It's the use of colours as well. It's very basic palette, but it's a bit like these days. You got to know how to contour,
Yeah.
and these guys knew how to contour.
Even the drawing of the horses.
Yeah. An artist who actually enjoyed it, look, drawing horses.
Oh, who's this? Oh, Trigan Empire. Yeah, the Rebellion are doing the I think they're doing the sale on the digital versions. If anyone's interested, volume 1 to 3.
Right, look at the difference with this one as well. You see how the letters are actually separate?
Oh yeah, yep.
It's like an acetate over the top of it.
Yes.
Maybe it's just for the this print here.
Well, I think that's did not do it that way too, because that saved actually physically
Yeah,
writing on
the-
things.
yeah.
And then Tippex and out again.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of distance between them.
Wow. There was the love we had for a while, the space.
Anti-tank.
Ah, there we go. This is more your work now, Nick.
Yeah, it's more than I guess.
Do you recognise the scene? Were you involved personally in this scene?
No, I recognise the guns. I recognise the G. And that's supposed to be Panzer 3, or I think it looks like an F3.
This was
Comet.
Mark of the Mysterons. This is the voice of the Mysterons. Is for what I think that they used to say. What do you got? Valiant. These are really old. Like, I think fantastic.
I know.
Comic titles that you don't hear of anymore. And of course, Thorg himself, who's actually here this weekend. We must get to talk with Steve McManus at some point. Oh, there's the old comics. I mean, there was a time when in the 70s and the 80s you had variants in comics. It wasn't just superheroes.
Yeah, you had Eagle.
I mean, there's
Relaunch
Dan
of
there.
Eagle. That was the original band there.
Keith Watson.
Even the detail as well.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
I thought I could do an RAF uniform as down there, but then I realised it was green, and the cut is actually quite different. It's not an actual RAF uniform. It's got...
You would only notice that.
Yeah. If you'd done a blue one, I could have done it. I could do like a colourblind version.
We could just spray you down with something.
I found people who are colourblind, and they're like, yeah, it's fine, it's great.
It's a bit like the arguments in Star Wars, actually, what colour things are. And then they redo them again, and suddenly nobody's running around in a grey suit.
What year do you want?
Oh.
Star Trek?
You! Let's have a wee look here. He says,
Star Trek.
TV21, that's a really old comic.
Yeah.
Jim Bakey. There we go, it's a TOS one as well. Look at that, it's beautiful. I mean, look at Spock and Kirk.
There's it. Another piece.
Beautiful. I'm wondering, I think there was a time where they couldn't use direct likenesses.
That's right.
Yeah, so things were sort of changed a wee bit.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Scarlett, somebody saying yes, Captain Scarlett. Another classic. Nice. This is a great display.
Over there, some more.
Oh, look. Spaceships!
Some of the Thunderbirds.
It's, Star Trek. I mean, those were done more or less contemporary to the series itself, and more often than not, they didn't get the references. They just got a few black and white photographs of from the publicity department, and then told to watch the shows when they turned up on TV. So, in the case of the very first episodes of Star Trek in the comics, the artist went to a viewing theatre to watch whatever the first episode was, and he misheard Captain Kirk as Captain Kurt, and it ended up the first 3 instalments of this particular, not this particular strip, but an earlier one. It was Captain Kurt rather than Captain Kirk, and they got all the jacket tops wrong as well. They're thinking, well, you know, the red tops were the ones that always got killed and all the rest of it. But Captain Kirk ended up wearing the red one nearly all the time in the comic strips because the references were wrong, or the artist just made assumptions as to what they were going to be. So.
So this is your display this
So this is
afternoon?
my display, yes.
Do you mind introducing yourself to us?
I'm Graham Bleathman,
Yep.
illustrator. So I'm the illustrator of all that lot behind you.
This is beautiful work.
And collector of artwork as well.
So this is all your collection then?
So most of it is, not all, but most of it's my collection, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
and obviously all this stuff's my own work, so it's what I do for a living.
This is absolutely fantastic.
So,
I mean, look at the space shuttle. How long would it usually take you to do something like
well,
this?
they were done for a fortnightly comic, so I would imagine the turnover time was probably about a week to 10 days to each one. The ones that the guys, yes, they are commando comic covers.
That's sort of what I put this on for.
And the illustrations with the white backgrounds are, in fact, from this.
Oh wow, the technical manual. I love the Haynes manuals. That's
You
amazing.
can see how it was reproduced.
Yes.
And obviously that appears inside as well somewhere. So
How was it like working with Haynes? I mean, did they give you free rein? Did they come up with the text?
well,
or?
yeah, in a way, they did. When Haynes were a bit unsure as to what to do about getting the details right for all the vehicles inside when they were negotiating a license with ITV, who own the shows, and ITV said, well, there is this guy who used to draw Thunderbirds, and he was probably the person you need to speak to before you get the new artist to work on it. Well, the new artist to work on it was me, and the old guy who used to do the illustrations was me. So in the end, it wasn't too much of a problem. I just ended up redoing all the stuff I'd done before. So I don't think I've got an exact version. Let me have a look. Oh yes, I have. Look, there we are. This is a good example. That is obviously Fab 1, done for Thunderbirds comic in 1992 or 93. And here it is again, done for the Haynes manual in 2012.
Gosh.
And since then, in between that, I've done it another 2 or 3 times for other publications, other books. So I've become a bit of an expert on what goes in where, really. And of course, with a lot of these things, there's no sort of hard and fast details as to what's inside these vehicles on TV or in other comics, so you end up making a lot of it up.
So really, you're laying down canon then for a character and for their vehicles?
I have to say that I don't like the use of the word canon, but yeah, effectively that's what it comes down
I'm
to.
just thinking
well, you
in
have
terms
to.
of people who replicate props and costumes
right,
and things.
yeah.
We always go to as much of a detailed source as we possibly can for reference, because it can be very difficult with screenshots and as you say, half the
it's
time you
a
can't see the
nightmare.
inside of anything.
And one of the things I did was an aircraft carrier that appeared in an episode of Thunderbirds. I've got the illustration here. And I drew it originally in full colour for the Thunderbirds comic. And you either were watching the episodes on TV or videoing them on VHS at that time. Oh, that's a good example as well, actually, I'll come to that. There we are. And this is the newer version of the same vehicle, same vessel. Now, on VHS, looking at the episode, you only see it very briefly. I thought it was just an ordinary ship, ordinary aircraft carrier. When I watched it on Blu-ray for the new version of the Haynes manual, one you've just looked at, it's a catamaran. I had absolutely no idea. You could not see it on TV using a screen grab or a screenshot. It's only looking at the Blu-ray version you realise, you see it zoom past at quite high speed because it's a futuristic vessel. You realise it's got twin hulls. And in terms of making up detail, this vessel here, Fab 2, which is Lady Penelope's yacht, you see in one episode only, and you just see one room. So what do you do about all the other bits and pieces? You've got to make it up. The publisher asks you to make it up. So whether people like it or not, I've ended up doing all the detail you never see on TV, because you only see one room, which I think was that room there. And it even included a garage for Fab 1, which is a car which has hydrofoils anyway, so the car can go into the water, go up to the back of the boat opens up, and the boat can go inside. You never see that, the car can go inside. You never see that on TV, but I thought, well, that'd be quite fun to do,
And that's the level of detailing that you've gone to.
Yeah.
I mean, your line work is so crisp. Are you digital or are you still hand?
It's everything. It's hand painted,
Yes.
hand drawn.
The old style, the old way, rulers and...
It is, yes. I mean, look, stuff like this. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that
This is all hand painted. It's watercolor, gouache.
That's a skill. I mean, that really is a skill, because it's not that it's easy to do things in digital, because I know a lot of the artists have problems swapping over to it, and a lot of new artists coming through, that's all they've ever known. But certainly the ability to still sit and draw old-fashioned, as some think it is, but it's
one of the things
skill.
I do is my secret life is I am an illustrator for the cover of a magazine called The People's Friend.
Yes, it's still going.
It's been going since 1869. Now, luckily, I've not been working that long, but you get the impression that it never changes. And since 1946, they've always had an illustration on the front of somewhere pretty. And it can be a castle or a church or a village and things like that. And of course, my style is almost perfect for this. Now, tomorrow I was going to bring in my latest People's Friend cover before it goes off to DC Thompson, and it's an unusual cover for them slightly. In fact, it's of Jodrell Bank.
Right.
Well, I don't know why, but
That is kind of unusual. It's usually like nice flowery scenes.
The covers I normally do
churches and things like that. And
is churches like.
Yeah, they do love their churches.
This isn't actually for the People's Friend, but it's done for it was done as a sort of takeoff of the People's Friend for a Jerry Anderson magazine. Yes, that's what I normally do for the People's Friend. It's something very similar to that. And in this case, it was for the Jerry Anderson Fan Club's magazine, where they wanted to make it look as if it was a People's Friend type cover. And basically for a series called The Secret Service, which is about a vicar who's a secret agent. And the church is actually a real location. It's in Hughenden, which is near High Wycombe. And so as you can see, I left lots of space for the logo, and then down here, when I do my People's Friend covers, you'll always notice that there's a big gap where nothing happens at the bottom. That's where all the looks inside for knitting patterns and a feature on royalty or something like that. So photographs and text would appear at the bottom, and there'll be some text there, and the People's Friend logo would be on there. And so I do those, and I've just finished my 275th cover last week, and I'm on, and the one that I'll probably be bringing tomorrow if I remember to bring it, will be Jodrell Bank, and that'll be my 282nd, something like that, because I'm at work about 6 covers ahead. But I'm not the only artist. I'm one of about 4 or 5 who work for the magazine, and that, you see, is the only bit of the magazine that's traditionally painted. All the other illustrations inside for the text and the features and the stories are all pretty much digital. So even for an old-fashioned magazine like The People's Friend that seems to exist in the 1950s, it is quite up to date in the way they produce the magazine, but they still insist on the hand-painted cover artwork, which is great for me because I still do it hand-painted.
Yeah. Do you get any feedback from the audience?
No, you
People's Friend?
don't.
No,
You don't, because of course they've always used a pseudonym since 1946.
right?
They've always used this strange pseudonym called J. Campbell Kerr.
Not J.R. Hartley.
No one knows who J.R. Hartley is, or indeed J. Campbell Kerr is, because it's probably 2 or 3 art directors from the 40s, and even the J was just made up, probably. And it's tradition, and I can't change the tradition at all. And on Facebook, I usually say if I'm doing a cover, I'll probably put it up. Not every week, but certainly if it's a significant issue or something like that. And one of the previous conventions, Bristol Comic Conventions, years ago, I actually decided, I'll tell you what, I'm going to come as J. Campbell Kerr, and I brought a lot of People's Friend covers, printed ones, and the final artwork before they went off to DC Thompson, as well as all the Thunderbirds stuff as well. And I thought that was sort of quite a fun thing to do, really, to be quite honest. Because everyone raises a laugh, because no one reads The People's Friend, I know, but their grannies probably do.
Yes.
And so people do react. They say they like the covers, and obviously they keep liking the covers, and we'll keep going with them until the magazine goes totally digital, which will probably never be. Never, you know. So
It's always a publication as well. I would have seen sitting around a hospital.
it is. It's very much a doctor's surgery, dentist surgery type thing. But the thing is with it, it stands out from all the other women's magazines, because that's where it's normally ranked, because it's the only one to have a painted cover. All the rest has usually got a celebrity on the front.
Yes.
Well, this one's got a pretty little landscape of some description. And it really varies. I have to look in the magazine each week to find out if my cover's on the front, because they never tell me until it's far too late. And I usually have to go out and buy a copy.
Oh, so you don't even get one
I never get one. They
Oh,
used
forget.
to. They used to, but DC Thompson are tight anyway, so they ended up saying you're going to have to buy it, or you get a subscription for contributors, which is 40% off. And I said, no, thank you. It's not worth doing that. I'm not buying bloody magazines that I'm never going to read. And because I don't read them anyway, I buy a couple of copies of each issue. I tear up one and put the cover into a folder, and any other interior work I've done for the magazine goes into a folder as well, and then keep one for on file, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I quite, to be honest, I actually quite enjoy doing them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done 280 odd of them so
Exactly.
far.
That is dedication.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I started it when the Thunderbirds stuff started to die out in the 90s after its BBC Two re-release, so to speak, when most of all this stuff was done. I was looking for other work, and People's Friends seemed like something I could do. I didn't have to think about too much. And I did about 10 covers for them in the 1990s, of which 5 were published. And I could tell they didn't really like my artwork at the time. And so the work fizzled out from there. And then about 10 years later, I thought, sod it, I'll give it another go. And I did it more in their house style, which was a bit more loose, watercolour-y sort of thing. And they liked that, and I've continued ever since. And I've done about, well, it averages about 20 a year, so it's about half the number of covers, I suppose. But there's about 4 others who do it as well. But they tend to give me the architectural ones, really, the ones that involve castles and things like that. I mean, the one that goes to Jodrell Bank, I do 2 or 3 at once, is of another castle, and I can't even remember where it is, to be honest. I'm just sent a reference photograph and a page layout to make sure I know where the logos go and where the all the other cover graphics go, so I can avoid putting detail in them. And then they'll get sent off at once, and then it goes into the DC Thompson archive and never see it again. So I tend to take photographs of it, or photocopies, before it goes off. And that tends to be the end of that really until the next one turns up, and it's usually about every month they'll send a couple of reference or references to me for me to do covers. And say, as long as there's a gap at the top for the masthead and a gap at the bottom to put other text, that's fine. You just paint in some sky or a bit of grass at the bottom, depending on what it is, and just don't put detail in, because you know it'll get covered with a knitting pattern or something. So that's the secret life, really. And other than that, it's historical illustration I do occasionally. You know, I mean, in Bristol, for example, there's Yes, That's Great Britain. I don't know if you've seen that or heard of it or whatever, but I mean, there's Brunel's ship, and I've done a cutaway of that, for example, and a few other things as well. That sort of ilk, really. Cathedrals.
So that's where your passion lies as well.
Well, I suppose so. Most of it comes down to doing cutaways of sci-fi things. But I mean, I've done, say, cutaways of real buildings, which is quite good. I mean, yes, that's Great Britain is quite handy for me. I mean, I live locally, so I mean, it was a case of going down, taking photographs of the ship, because you can get on board and go on all the decks and things like that. And the illustration original illustration is probably about as big as one of these pieces of artwork. It comes out about that big, maybe a bit bigger. And it's just looking down on the ship, really, and you can see some of the decks inside. And they reproduced the original illustration. I mean, they sent it back, so we've got the original back, but it's used on all their promotions and publicity. And then they reproduced the original illustration, really huge, about as long as two of these black desks put together. So as long as those two desks there. And it's on the side of the building, on the museum that goes with the ship. Which is quite nice. So occasionally I pose in front of it saying, this is mine. But it is mostly sci-fi stuff.
No, it's a really impressive work.
But yeah, I do quite enjoy the People's Friend stuff. It's this sort of dreaded little secret, really.
I didn't expect you to say that.
I was going to say, do you enjoy it more than drawing Thunderbirds or
Oh
ships?
no, it's got to be down to doing Anderson stuff or other stuff. There's things like Star Trek I've done and a few other bits as well. But
imagine the crossover between People's Friend and Thunderbirds.
well, I sort of did a crossover.
Did a sneaky one?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Thunderbirds. It was Torchwood.
Right. Really?
Yeah. One of the covers was of Cardiff Bay, and it was the sort of the brick building there next to the Parliament, Welsh Parliament building, and sort of Torchwood's secret headquarters are Cardiff Bay, underneath a big fountain. Now, though the fountain was just out of view, I did manage to sneak in. It was fairly prominent, the big black 4x4 that they were using at the time, right in, quite prominently in the middle of the picture. They thought it was just another vehicle. Didn't make much difference, really. So that's the only crossover I've ever done. But yeah, even the art editor, she quite likes my work, and I gave her a copy of the print of this, for example, because she likes the castle, the Scottish castle, which is made up, by the way, for the Stingray series. But yeah, she says one of these days you're going to end up putting something in, aren't you? I said, well, quite likely. I mean, I did a Christmas card. I do a painted Christmas card each year for friends and family and clients sometimes. And I did one of Lady Penelope's mansion, which has got Fab 1 parked outside. Well, Lady Penelope's mansion is, of course, Stourhead in Wiltshire. So it's based on a real location. So I said to the People's Friend, yeah, if you ever get me, can you please get me to do one day Stourhead? And I promised not to put Fab 1 in front of it. Maybe for my 300th cover or something like that. That would be great to do Stourhead. And you know, my sci-fi friends will immediately recognise it as Lady Penelope's mansion, while most of the readership won't know.
Randomly, they might actually get an increase in the sales for that particular copy.
But they're quite, I mean, it has to be said, the People's Friend were being very old-fashioned. I bet you if it usually is to go with an article inside on the location concerned, and I bet you if I do the cover for it, they'll mention Thunderbirds inside somewhere. Because one of the things they did, which is most unusual, when I did 250 issues or in 250 covers, they interviewed me on their web pages, which is something very unusual. They don't normally do that at all because it's anonymous. You don't, J. Campbell Kirk does the covers, not Graham Bleathman, or anybody else. But they actually interviewed me and they talked about my Thunderbird stuff and things like that. So it's not so much of a secret anymore. for the artists. In fact, they don't even put J. Campbell Kerr on the front like they used to now. They just don't bother having a signature or credit at all now. Mainly because they used to be able to sell prints of the cover art, and they used to credit that to this J. Campbell Kerr, but they've given up on that. There wasn't enough interest in it. So
Until they do the Lady Penelope one.
well, yes, there was that, and there was another one I was going to do, which was the sci-fi. Oh, I know. Yes, as far as I know, they've never done. Well, they could have done. I don't know. I don't read it regularly, but I mean, they've never done Portmeirion. Now that would be quite fun because. You know, I could easily put in one of the prisoner balloons, couldn't I? Rovers. Now that would be quite good. Sneak it in just behind one of the buildings, because I mean it's such a picturesque sort of place. It's ideal people's friend material. I might ask them about that. Have they ever done Portmeirion? I'm sure they have. To be honest, they must have done it in the '60s or something like that.
I would
I've not seen it on a cover for years, and I look at each issue in the newsagent, to check whether it's mine or not. And I check what the locations are, whether it's my cover or not, you know. So, but yeah, Portmeirion is the other sci-fi one would be quite good to do. It could double up as a sort of standard location.
I think you should sneak a TARDIS into one of the People's Friend covers.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If I ever did, now I don't know the name of the street, but it's in Glasgow, where there really is a blue police box still there. I think it's something like Socky Street or one of them. Because I remember seeing it, because I think Forbidden Planet was in the same street. But it's always been there as a standard police telephone box, and of course you always get fans going up and taking photographs of it. So you could do that as a standard street scene for People's Friend, and have the TARDIS there. You know, it would be brilliant.
It would be really good, especially with the new interest now in the new Doctor.
Well, exactly. Yes. Yes, that's very true.
Doctor Who can split the fans.
Well, I've done stuff for Doctor Who as well.
Really?
But, well, sort of, yeah. You obviously know about wiped episodes and things like that. Well, there was a couple that. Well, one episode, one story was cut by a strike. That was Sharda, and another one was called the Macra Terror, which I think is a wiped episode. So I did animations of them. And I did background art to both of them. And in fact, there's a couple of examples. Yeah, there's one there. That's the colony, Earth colony on an alien planet in the Macra Terror, and they literally used that painting as background art. So they literally panned a camera across it as an establishing shot. I then painted some clouds separately and some planets separately. They matted them on, and then they animated the clouds going across. But I kept the original, but it's actually the original artwork as well. And there again is the inside of the colony, sort of a neglected corner, and they simply animated the characters directly on top of the background. So I was able to design the colony because you never saw it on TV. I think that's the only ones I brought with me. Oh, that one as well. That's from Sharda. That's a space prison, apparently, where they only filmed certain bits of it, and then the BBC went on strike and they never finished it. So they did animated sequences to fill in the gaps. I always said, well, that looks a bit like the sort of, I don't know, the Cardiff branch of Debenhams or something. But I mean, you know what I mean. There is a very blurred photograph of the model they made, but they couldn't use that for the animated sequences. So in the end, they got me to do the asteroid with the space prison connected to the side of it, and then they sort of animated a starfield behind it, and then they sort of animated the rest of it. I have to say the animation's a bit crappy, if truth is known, but I mean I don't mind. It's Doctor Who, and there's something interesting to work on really. So I think all the rest of it's just Jerry Anderson stuff. But yeah. So
I'm coming back tomorrow to spend lots of money.
yeah.
Did you hear that? The guys are coming
I
back tomorrow
did.
to spend money?
Yeah, that's what I like to
Keep
hear.
you to that, Tony.
Strange enough, they've not done too badly today.
Oh, excellent.
We're given that I'm in the middle of sort of nowhere at the end of the universe. So yeah, so there we go. It's a strange sort of life, really, and me, my wife, and two helpers, furry and feline.
Cats.
Can't live without them.
This is a sunset. Now, very obvious really, isn't it? in Captain Scarlett, you see this city at night. You can see the original model was made of bloody sort of lampshades, can't you? What have you? And it never. And so it was one of the cutaways. This was done in 90. Well, it doesn't say, but it was done in about 93, I think it was, for the Thunderbird, for the Captain Scarlett comic. It only lasted 14 issues. Published by Fleetway, when Captain Scarlett was being shown on BBC Two. Anyway, I had two black and white cats at the time. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Minstrel. He sat. I was working flat at the time, so you know, on a surface like that, I tend to work at an angle now. And the little bugger sat on my artwork there. And left what can only describe as a bum mark, which was, I suppose, a little horseshoe-shaped, damp shape on what was a cloudless sky. And luckily there were no paw marks or anything like that. And when I shooed him off, I was, bloody hell, I can't repaint it now, because everything had been done, more or less. So I ended up very hastily doing a sort of sunset like that and saying, well, Mars has been terraformed and you've got some clouds. But the editor was quite happy with that. He said that's not a problem at all. But yeah,
Could have said it was a black hole.
yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The present cats are just as helpful, really. I have to say, Arthur and Trillian. But yeah, they are little gits. But yeah, they do help, shall we say.
Well, people should really come down and check you out now because your artwork is fantastic. I know people are walking in and going, good grief, look at the line work, look at the artwork.
Yeah,
and really appreciate it.
I think people are sort of gradually coming down. I mean, we've tried to put up a few signs and things,
Yeah.
put up a few more, and it's quiet. But,
Well, we thought we'd come down and have a wander around too, so I'm really glad that you were about. So thank you.
no
Thanks for your time.
problems whatsoever, yeah.
Okay,
What are
thank
you
you.
using it for? Just
This is actually, it's live at the moment on Facebook, on the Lawless web or Facebook page.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll maybe encourage people to come down. They'll see this and go, oh, I didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Graham.
Excellent. Yeah, no problems whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers.